What is going on, my Atomic Autoworks friends? If you're new, I'm Eddie Barrett with Atomic Autoworks Garage, and we are on the C3 72 Corvette restoration. If you haven't watched if you have watched the previous videos, you know where we're at. If you haven't, we are about to put the 4:1 high build primer on it from Evercoat. It is called Super Build, and we did get the Optex one, and the Optex one is the one that changes from you spray it on and it's pink, and then when it's dry, it's gray. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't get it if they don't have it. The problems that we had in the past are that when we got this product, because we're a restoration shop and it's not a high production product, sometimes it sits on the shelf for too long and gets like thick. So we had reached out to one of our reps and said, hey, we need this stuff really bad, but I don't want to go through a fiasco where we have to, get it shipped back and move back and forth and all that stuff. We just need it, get it done and move on. So he said, I'm going to go there and check and make sure it's good. And he says, I'm going to make sure you get it. And then this morning we got it. Well, not this morning, but this afternoon we got it. And we're going to go through and make sure it's good and spray it on the Corvette and show you how it works. All right, so this is the true test. I'm going to pull the lid off. If this is stirrable. Oh, yes. Mike, you did good, buddy. I'm going to have to text him and thank him. Second time he's went above and beyond that I was really shocked me. So we're going to stir this up a little bit because we don't want to put it in the mixer and then have it like break the mixing machine. Okay, so let's see if this goes down. That's now the true test. All right, so we've had this on the mixing machine for quite some time, and we're just gonna mix. I gotta mix it in this because I don't have any old-fashioned mixing cups. And we're going to use a cheap gun. 4:1, 8. Okay. So this actually calls for a 2.0 chip spray gun or higher, bigger. And my 2.0 chip spray gun is broke. Well, someone broke it that worked here previously and lost parts for it somehow. So I had to go out and get a gun. The only thing that they had was the one from Harbor Freight, which is a 1.8. I'm hoping it's enough, big enough tip. We'll know in a minute. I'm gonna stir this real good because this is some thick stuff. So if this isn't old school, do it at home. This is just a Harbor Freight gun. It's a siphon feed, not a gravity feed. And it's just a $20 or $30 spray gun we got there. I don't know if it's going to work or not. 1.8 to a 2.0 tip is a big difference. So let's just try it out. Okay. Okay, so I put my microphone in the respirator, so hopefully you'll be able to hear. Is it working? It's working. So we'll see what happens here. It could be really loud. Put the fluid all the way open. Not that far open. Okay. It's locked off. I'm going to do a little bit less of a fan. So you notice here it's coming out pink. And then this is actually going to dry gray, which is kind of cool. So actually for a 1.8 tip, it's spraying pretty good. It's putting this material on fairly wet. I actually kind of like it better than a 2.0 tip because it's laying down a little bit. I see my butt there. It's coming out a little bit more atomized, which is kind of nice. Okay, so that's basically just under a quart. So that's why when you hear me say this stuff doesn't go that far, we basically did this section here with 1 quart. All right, so we have 2 coats of the Super Build on there. One thing, when you spray this stuff, it sprays just like gel coat, smells like gel coat. That cheap gun I just used actually I think worked just as good as our 2.0. It puts this stuff on thick. Obviously it's pink and it's going to dry. It takes a long time to dry. And when it's gray, it'll be ready to sand. I've sprayed this quite a few times. What's funny about it is every time you spray it, it's cool because you can still see stuff underneath it if you think you missed something. but there's just so much primer. Like, you don't realize when you're sanding this stuff how thick it is. We could have done 3 coats, but I just went 2, so we'll see how that works. The last couple cars we did like 3 coats on it, but it's so thick I was like, doesn't really need it, but it looks pretty cool. It's nice to see a pink Corvette. All right, so it's the next day. I wanted to show you what it looks like as it's drying. You can see now some of the pink is starting to turn gray, and this is going to go on for a few days because we put 2 wet coats on here. With polyester, usually the thicker it is, the faster it dries. It's more of a reactive thing with the catalyst here. So it's kind of cool. You get to see it like change over the next few days. Once this starts to dry, I'm going to show you, I'm hoping we can catch it. So as it first turns gray, it's really not that great to sand yet. That's why we say we like to give it like a week, so you really know it fully dries, fully cures. Sometimes you could go through, when it's turning pretty much gray, I would say like 90% gray, you could just take a piece of sandpaper, just lightly cut the surface of everything and let it breathe, and that could help it to dry up a little bit. But with polyesters, they always shrink. So you want to make sure that they get the proper drying time so that when you go to work them, they've already done their shrinking, because there's nothing worse. And I did it one time. I rushed a job. I wanted to try this stuff out. I put 2 light coats on it just to see how it works. The second that it was gray, I blocked it down, primed it, painted it, and put it to the side. Well, 6 months later, I saw it shrank like a lot. So you really want to let it dry completely. A lot of people in the back in the day, they used to use the feather fills and all that product. And there's some other products similar, and they were also polyesters. And you would spray those over the fiberglass to hide some stuff, which I'm going to show you, because this is one of the reasons why you don't want to break through fiberglass and go through the paint into the fiberglass. Because like over here, you'll actually see there's little tiny air bubbles. And yeah, you could go on there and just bury this stuff on there and do that. But when they're really big like that, I like to correct them and make sure they're gone, because you don't want an air bubble. Well, basically what an air bubble is in the fiberglass is inside the resin. If you don't roll out the air or vacuum out the air, it gets a little blister. And you'll see a lot of cars, what will happen is that blister could be just below the surface, like right barely there. And it will actually, when it's hot, it'll inflate and you'll see a bump. And then when it's cold, it will be flat or a depression. So you always, if you see something like that, you want to fix it. A lot of fiberglass cars, when we make them from scratch, we actually bake them, get them really hot to make sure that it dries everything, and it kind of shows you where there might be any possible air bubbles. Obviously, you try to roll it out really good or vacuum bag it really good to make sure there's no air in it, but sometimes it happens around tight areas like this, and these are the ones that are most noticeable. You'll actually have an air pocket right there in the gel coat, and then when that pops, you have a hole, and you don't want that. So what I'm hoping to do is catch this right when it's dry so I can show you what it's like to sand it, and then we're going to wait until it's dry to show you the difference, because basically when it just turns gray, if you were to start sanding this stuff, you could sand it. It doesn't sand great. You'll get through it, but then again, it's going to shrink. And then if you just give it the time and wait, this stuff sands like powder. It sands really nice. So you just plan it out. Let it sit for a week. Go through it. If you have 2 weeks, let it sit for 2 weeks, and then come back and attack it, because the longer you let this stuff dry, the better you are. All right, so hopefully this helps you guys out with us doing this. What we're trying to do is do some more, I would say, basic videos that people at home could do. What I found is when things get too overproduced, over like production and too much everything, it kind of sucks the fun out of it. I like one of the garden channels I watch. I love watching them do what they do, and it's very good because I don't have a lot of time on the weekends or at nights, and I enjoy sometimes gardening and stuff. So you'll go there and you'll look at the stuff and you'll be like, okay, I could do that. You could buy a raised bed, you could plant a few seeds, you could do that. That makes sense to me. Once you start pulling out backhoes and bulldozers and you're buying 500 acres and doing this crazy stuff, it's interesting, but it kind of takes away from what I want. I want you to want to work on your cars, or at least know what's involved if you go to a shop, so you're not getting, so you have some idea of what they actually do. A lot of people think there's, especially in the auto body world, I remember 30 years ago when I was a kid, you know, there was a big thing saying, you know, everybody thinks the body guy has a magic wand. You know, you just boom and everything's done. They don't understand that it's a lot of hard work, a lot of sanding, and the better they are, the harder they work. You know, you do work smarter, and there are tricks, and we'll show you over time how, you know, doing certain procedures makes it a lot more efficient. So in a production world, that helps, and consistency and quality and all that stuff really works in a production aspect if you want to try to be profitable at doing this. But for us, we want you to get off your couch, get out in the garage, build something cool, take your phone with you, watch one of our videos, and you can see how we do stuff. Just actually work on your vehicle, enjoy it. It's such a great feeling to do this. And what's cool about it is if you just put the time in, a little elbow grease, a little hard work, you could actually achieve the same things as the high production shops. You could actually exceed the high production shops, and you could do the same thing that a high-end body shop or a high-end custom car builder could do if you just put the time in and do it yourself. But that's what you got to do. You got to put the time in. You got to do it yourself. There's no big secrets on the work. There's no big secrets on the materials. It's just you got to do it. And I do understand a lot that it's hard to get this material, but luckily with a lot of the online stores now, you could actually purchase direct from them and have it shipped to you and have it shipped very quickly, which is nice. So if you're at home doing this, it's great. Especially a lot of the comments and questions and all that stuff that we get and interactions are people out in like the Midwest, down south. And I didn't realize there's a lot of areas that don't still have a lot of stores to buy this stuff. So it's harder to get that stuff. And when you don't have stores that buy that stuff, you don't have stores to train you or teach you or help you or show you the products. And sometimes it gets scary, you know, even though this is a very good price point product for what it is, it's a really good price point, but it's still an investment. And to spend your money on something and never have seen it work by a real person, to me, is scary. No one wants to try this and learn the hard way. Let us learn the hard way because we've already done everything wrong over the last 30 years. We're going to try to save you that headache from doing that. So again, one of the reasons we have the links in the descriptions of our videos so you can buy the products that we use if you like them and see us do them. And if you don't see them in any of the descriptions, you can just go to our website. We had a lot of people who will message us on social media and say, I didn't see the link. I just had one yesterday or last night where they're looking for scissors that we used in a specific upholstery video. And it's in the description. Sometimes it gets confusing. You could always email us. We will email you back. It just takes a long time because we have a lot of emails and calls. You could always just go to our website, atomicautoworks.com, and you click on the link that says Copycat. That just brings you to a page, and on that page, it has multiple possibilities of places you could purchase our products. You could go to tools and equipment, shop supplies. You could do business stuff, like if you see software that we use, there'll be links to use that software. You can see editing equipment for doing our videos. So it's kind of a all around everything we do. You can have an opportunity to purchase that stuff or see what we do. And we try to get you the best deals on it. I would love to work with some local companies or some actual companies direct and do something. But unfortunately, in our industry, there's not a lot of people reaching out, even though you have a million upholstery videos and people asking questions every day. And I hate having to refer it to places like Amazon. But let's face it, you go to Amazon, you order it, you get it, it's done. A lot of our suppliers are wholesale only, so they're missing out completely on the retail segment of the market. But for now, Amazon's doing their job. So a lot of our links go to Amazon. Some of them do go direct to companies. And I hope that it helps you out and you're able to work with these companies, purchase these products, do this stuff. Get home, get in your garage, do it in front of your house, whatever it takes. I appreciate you guys watching these videos. I know some of them aren't great because we're not video guys, we are car guys. But please remember, if you're on Facebook, to subscribe to our channel. If you're on YouTube, like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. That helps us make more of these videos. Appreciate you. Thank you.